Yeah, so I think maybe part of it is usually from a good place.
Yeah.
But part of the Dudulu is just do it, take good feedback, and then what doesn't work, you don't do it, and then you just see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, it must be scary sometimes, isn't it?
It's terrifying, yeah.
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 So what is Dishi about, though?
So Dishi is a platform that we started working on in October of 23. Yeah, around October of 2023, sorry. And essentially the point was just to give restaurants a platform to manage their transactions. So back to a couple of years ago, so my father had 2 restaurants, right? And both times he had to close them down because people were stealing from him, right? So they would say we sold 2 plates, but then 5 kgs missing of rice, and things like that. So because he did not have the necessary resources to sort of track those things. So that had happened a while back. Then now later in 23 as well, I was working at a restaurant. And then I realized that at the restaurant, they were also facing the same problems that I saw, right? And the restaurant was also at a risk of shutting down because they did not have resources to track the the expenditure and their money and things like that. So Dishi came out of that need. So essentially it's just a platform that helps businesses to, one, we help with M-Pesa reconciliations. So realize that, again, I mean, I'm sure all of you have experienced this, but sometimes when you go to a restaurant, you pay, they ask you for your phone to check the code.
It's very annoying.
So that they write it somewhere, and then at the end of the day, the cashier needs to sit down with 200 receipts, and 200 messages, and 200 orders to sort of reconcile all of them. So our system does that automatically. So immediately you pay, it just reconciles immediately. So it makes it way easier for cashiers to sort of zero at the end of the day. So that's one. The other thing we do is also we help with delivery, organizing logistics for restaurants, and big part of that as well is still from a need that we saw. So with a lot of the existing third-party logistics partners, you cannot order for 2 things at the same time. If I want to deliver something, I have to wait for it to be delivered, and then I request for another delivery. You get so again, so now for a restaurant, let's say they have 10 orders, they have 20 orders, they have to wait for one to be delivered, end trip, and then request for the next one, and then request for the next one, which takes a long time. So now our system enables businesses to do 20 at the same time. So it makes it way easier for managing and all of that. So so essentially just tools to help businesses to manage their businesses more efficiently.
Yeah, that's dope.
Could you take us back to the journey now? Before
I'm going to cry.
Well, no. We want that sentimental part. Yeah, because there are people out there who really, they're afraid of starting up. And this is basically about startups and, how you got there. How was this journey for you? What did you go through? What are the experiences before you got to, start this company?
I mean, I started it accidentally, honestly. It was not a big plan to do it. So I went to school in Ghana, right?
Yeah, shout out to GH. Yeah, man.
Yeah, we love Accra.
Yeah.
So went to school in Ghana, and I honestly before uni, it's not something I thought about. Honestly, I had a very clear path: go to school, do well, get a job at a big corporation somewhere, and make a lot of money, and then retire. That's what I had in my head. And then there's this class that we took. It's called FD. Everybody hated it. So it's called Foundations of Design and Entrepreneurship. So now that class was about startups, basically. So they're okay, think of a problem, get a product, and you present it, and you build things you actually go and do customer interviews, blah, 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 and they actually grade you on that. So I did that. And then I really liked it, right? So there was the first one, I did it, really enjoyed it. And then there was a second, so there was FDE 1 and 2. So I did the second one, I really liked. So there are times, actually, it was just me and the lecturer chatting, because this was when we had Zoom classes. So everybody else was quiet, everybody else hated the class. So just me, us, just talking and chatting and, brainstorming and stuff during the class. So that's when I learned that I really enjoyed building stuff, right? So that's where it came from. Accidental, but I'm very happy it happened. I think this journey has really grown me very fast, though, right? Because you have to learn quickly. I think it's been very, very interesting.
Yeah, would you ever consider starting a business in Ghana at some point?
I did start a business in Ghana.
How was that?
I did. It went really well, actually.
What was it about?
We had to shut it down.
Yeah.
But it was about sustainable fashion. So it was called Vazi. Yeah, Vazi from Mavazi, guys. Okay.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't know about Steph.
Yeah, some things we have to translate. So Steph, Vazi ni mavazi. Vazi is nguo, clothing. Dish is food.
Dish is food.
Yeah, from the word dish. Okay. I think that's gonna be another show.
Thanks for your subtitles.
Yeah, so you did start a business in Ghana.
I did,
yeah. And okay, it was Vazi. So what were you doing? Like, were you creating your own clothes?
No, I wish. I feel like creating clothes is way cooler. So we were sorry. No, it's so there's a PR answer.
Yeah.
We were just like selling tush, guys.
Okay.
But like the real one, so that's the real answer. The PR one is like we were making fashion accessible and sustainable to African communities. Yeah.
So as a startup, how do you manage when you get a lot of no's from your potential clients? How do you keep pushing on?
I think big one is just the delusion, honestly.
The Lulu.
Yeah. I think you just have to keep pushing. But then also, I think something else, it's been very humbling, honestly, right? Because you will get a lot of no's and people don't think what you're doing is right or makes sense and stuff. But I think the no's, normally there's usually like a reason behind it. So like somebody will tell me no, I'm like, okay, that's fine, but what made you uncomfortable? What were you not sure about? What did you need clarity on? And then that information helps me to refine the way that I speak to the next person. Because sometimes it's not that they don't think your thing works, it's just a trust issue. Or like a grammar issue. It's just a language problem, right? So I think knowing why they said no, I think that has been very, very helpful in helping me to sort of refine the way that I speak to people or the way that I communicate.
When majority of guys who interact with your platform talk with you, what are some of the biggest concerns?
So we recently launched a new product that I love, I will talk about. So for that one, for example, like the biggest issue was actually just trust. They don't know if they're going to get what they're paying for. And from both sides, right? And again, since it's an online thing, I realized that in our particular context, we have like a big trust gap because people have ordered online and then they don't get what they ordered. A lot of times, or somebody cons someone, you're told to pay here and then you pay and then the phone goes off. So I think as a society, as a culture, we do have a very big trust problem. So I realized that like people will tell you a lot of things, but all of them are just smoke screens. The real answer behind that is just, I don't trust you. I don't know if I can lean on you. I don't know if what you have is actually going to work for me. So I think just getting to that point with people has been very, very helpful.
Right.
All right, so let's take a short break, guys. Remember, we're hanging out with Safari Mugendi. She's the chief visionary and co-founder of Dishi, and today we're talking about of course her journey navigating her very amazing startup. And if you have any questions, remember the hashtag is After Hours on Spice. Right now I've got a banger by Nelly Furtado. It was Say It Right, and it's 8 p.m.
94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.